Hi guys, welcome to the first day of the joyful jack-o'-lantern crochet along. Seriously, look at how cool this thing is. He's actually hollow. Can you see that? Crocheting a stands by itself hollow jack-o'-lantern, which there it is. Sorry. You get these LED candles. Now I know we have lights on and everything. It's not going to be as awesome or easily seen, I suppose, is the correct thing. But when this is dark, you can set this up and the light shines even out of the eyes. Can you see that? Just like that. So these jack-o'-lanterns, I call them the forever jack-o'-lanterns because they're not going to rot. They're not going to waste away. You will not be putting them in the compost pile in a few weeks. Is he going to stay? Don't fall. So now, this is a big project. If you're not so interested in big projects, do you see the little guys up there? We got minis. We got a couple of different versions, but they are also hollow on the inside where you can put the LED candle right in there as well. We got this one's got a little bit bigger mouth. This one is a little bit smaller, but one more option, if you're doing the mini jack-o'-lanterns, you can put tree fags inside of here, fill it up with the candy, and give this away. Maybe to your favorite little trick-or-treaters, right? So these are the little joyful jack-o'-lanterns that we're going to be doing in this crochet along. Now, if you don't yet know me, hello, my name is Eventine. I am the owner of Victoria's Creations. I design crochet patterns, but more importantly, I then take my crocheting mama bears. We go past the patterns. So how do we do that? Okay. I have had amazing relationship breakthroughs by pursuing God and having a very radical relationship with Him. God is the master of relationships. He is the creator of relationships. So He is the one to go to if something needs adjusting. And this is what we do in Victoria's Creations, where either through being a certified life coach or by mentoring, and we go deep into exploring our relationship with God so that we can have these powerful, radical breakthroughs and have stronger, more fulfilling family relationships. So, okay, let me introduce you to the crochet along now. Now, in this crochet along, we're going to do things a little bit differently. And I'm not sure what the heck is going on with the lighting and why we have the flickering. So I am sorry for that. I'm not sure if I can just adjust the camera on this. All right, well, I found one thing that's blinking, so maybe that took care of it. All right, sorry about the camera. Let's move ahead. Okay, the way we do these crochet alongs is I am going to do a little bit of the crocheting. Obviously, we're not going to crochet this entire magnificent guide together on camera. Oh, and please don't worry about a clock or a calendar. So what we'll do for the crocheting parts is we'll kind of troubleshoot some areas. And then this is where it gets really interesting. Today, everybody's going to get the VIP treatment. But if you're on VIP, oh, and today the first 100 people can join free on Zoom. And what that will look like when you're on Zoom is if you want like specific help, you've made it so far and there's an area. You having Zoom access to me means that you can then take your camera and literally use your camera to show me what you're doing, which part you're at. And we can move forward then. It's like I'm sitting in the room with you, able to help you, which is so much easier to have live interaction where I can see what you're doing and we can move forward. I can really bring help right as you need it. So that's one aspect. Now, the other thing about this crochet along, I had already mentioned, we're not stressing about a clock or calendar. So how do we do that yet still be part of a crochet along? Glad you asked. All right, I am going to switch screens for a second. I'm going to share my computer screen and show you how we make this happen to where you get the best of both worlds. We get the interaction, the community, hangout time, but you're not stressed out thinking you need to have 18 rows crocheted before tomorrow. So let's look at this, okay? I am, like I said, let me switch the screens and let me share. Well, it would have been helpful. I had it there. There we go. Sometimes finding through all of the tabs. There we go, guys. Here we go. So what you see on my screen is one of the emails that you would get. What that looks like, okay, is once you have an email, we broke this up into the large ones, okay, like I was showing you guys. There's this guy, and he's actually just the regular size. There's one more version. He's about that wide. He stands the same height. He's just wider. So these are the two large ones. We have the large one. We have the regular jack-o'-lantern. And he is going to fall. Stop. And we broke that up into these 15 steps found on your treasure map. And as you'll see today, the reason why we have like step 1 and we go to a different path, 2, 3, and we come up here 4 and 5. It's something we'll cover in all these days, but there are certain steps we're going to take, and then you'll do like a partial blocking and we'll jump to the interior. But okay, so you have a treasure map to go through, and it just helps you. And in the email, it's just a simple thing. Right here, it's showing you what step you're on and what you're working on. So this is the very first email that you'll get, okay? Color 1 is actually this interior color, the pale yellow that we'll cover in just a moment. And the first thing you're working on is the topper, and we're working on the interior part of the topper. So in this email, that's what it's telling you is where you're going to start. If you need the video tutorial, the link takes you straight there. If you're looking for a specific part, it gives you the timestamp to jump to. That's what we'd be working on. Okay. You can bring any questions when we're not live. You can bring them into the Facebook groups. All right. Now, this is how the whole thing works. This is so incredible, guys. When you are done with this step, right, you would literally mark it, and then you would click that button right there. Now I know it says one more question, but it marks in the system, and it automatically will bring you the next email with lovely number 1 checked off. So that's how we get to continue you going at your own pace, and you don't need to stress or worry about being a certain spot. Now, if you're on Zoom with me and you're still on that first section and you come here and you're working in this area, and I don't know, I'm 5-6 days away and I'm talking to other people about, the mouth. That's fine. You bring your questions. We'll take those moments. I'll take care of it. That's what community's for, right? That's what this is all about. And what is so exciting and thrilling is to keep this to where you get to just have fun. And that's what makes crocheting great, right? We all know the delight of it. I mean, we got all aspects here with crocheting. You're a task-oriented person, and you get to just see progress getting made. Check those boxes off. That sometimes is so thrilling, so deeply satisfying, especially when life is just kind of crazy. There is something we can go take control of, breathe, and see results. Now there's the other aspect, completely relationship, right? Crocheting, we create tangible giveaway products of love. Every time you see something and you immediately think of somebody you love, that's because you're about to give them a tangible expression of your love. Put you step by step, stitch by stitch, you brought them all the love you have for them. So it's incredible. But okay, guys, so in this, what we would be doing after we crochet is that's when we're going to take things past the patterns. That's where we're going to go into teaching. Now, in this, I want to read you something. All right, in Victoria's Creations, sorry, my notes, my paper just decided it wanted to fall. And there we go. Did it say? There we go. Nope. All right, in Victoria's Creations, there are three things that are like the heart of all woven into this, okay? There's the crochet. There's going after God. And when we go after God for ourselves, okay, we bring breakthrough to the world around us. So when you are, okay, we leave a legacy for our children and our children's children. And it's not just in finances. It has everything to do with relationships and mindsets. What we have inherited, right? We have free will. We have free will. So my mom is an incredible example of this. My mom has very explicit memories of having to go out to the backyard and get a switch anytime she was in trouble. My mom made a decision, a choice that she was never going to do that. She has free will. She received something. She decided she wasn't going to continue that something. I have none of those memories. Neither do my siblings. So there are times where you've experienced something that you totally disagree with, and you pursue living life and giving your children a different type of life than what you experienced. Okay. My mama has also great memories of watching her mom crochet. And so my mom, she enjoys crocheting. When I was 10 and I'd been watching my mom crochet blankets and I asked her if she would teach me, my mom then taught me how to crochet. So now again, same woman, right, has beautiful things within her dynamic, her legacy that she has now passed on. So that's something that what we powerfully go after. Okay. Now, in this one, we're doing this joyful jack-o'-lantern. Now, God's the one, and all transparency, he's the one that kept telling me joyful, joyful, joyful. And then it was so interesting. I actually kept hearing the word joy first, and then it was joyful. And I was like, okay, crocheting I find enjoyable. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to communicate joy in such a big project. But then I was talking with a friend, and she's like, oh my gosh, I hear jubilant, overflowing youth. And so later on, I was talking to God about that. And I was like, okay, well, jubilant, lots of fun, right? Overflowing. I would love to have some of that, Papa God. Youth. And then I just hear God with a smile, and he says, childlike. I'm like, ooh, we can get on that. But then he's the one that kept saying joyful. So I'm asking him, all right, God, what's the other part of this? Fun, unity, links with community. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but unity and then lavishly loving. So welcome to the Joyful Jack-o'-lantern Crochet. And in this, when we are going past the patterns, okay, we're going to talk about a concept of, it's in Proverbs. In fact, I actually think it's in today's proverb. Today is today's proverb. I'm part of a group, they read a proverb a day, you know, so today's the 13th, so they're reading the 13th proverb. And yep, Proverb 13, verse 12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. This jack-o'-lantern is a heart's desire fulfilled. Go figure how crazy that is, right? But it would have been September, October of 2022. And you know, I'm getting all these ads and notifications of different crochet patterns and this and that and that. And pumpkins, because it's that time of year. Well, then one of them reads crocheted jack-o'-lantern. Oh my gosh, I got totally excited, clicked on that. And it was a stuffed crocheted pumpkin with, you know, pieces crocheted and sewn onto it to look like a jack-o'-lantern, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I was expecting. So when I looked at that, I I talk to God all the time. He doesn't get annoyed, so it's great. And I was like, man, God, that would be really neat. What if you could crochet and actually hollow jack-o'-lantern? And then I was like, oh my gosh, what if we could do that? And I sat down and I began trying to create this thing. I tried to create this thing for a good many weeks and it was not coming together. So I remember putting that down and saying, God, we'll just put this off to the side. I don't know what to do with it right now. All right, so that's 22. I need a drink of water because this is a lot of talking. We'll get to the crocheting here soon. I promise. But okay, it would be a year later, about September of 23. And just one day out of nowhere, I hear God saying, I want you to go chain this much. We're going to start making that jack-o'-lantern. And literally, I sat down and just listening as God mapped it out. And we created the face. And once we created the face, holy cow, then we were able to just, I was able to just go from there and like just build the whole thing. Now, it gets to points where you're like, I'm not sure which part was me, which part was God. And yet it was thrilling, every aspect of it. And now this is what we have. I had a heart's desire. I brought it to God of like, I would love to crochet a hollow jack-o'-lantern. How cool would that be? So heart's desire can be something silly and just fun, right? A crocheted item. But how many of us have sit? Oh, it's not going to sit. There. How many of us have heart's desires that maybe aren't always so tangible? We have a heart's desire for an incredible marriage, a heart's desire for a thriving family, right? That's where we're going to go past these patterns. Your heart's desire. What do you have as a heart's desire for your family, for your loved ones? All right. So as promised, let's go ahead and get into some crocheting. What we're going to talk about today is the very beginning. Ouch. Sorry, I stepped on something. Aspect and your materials. So again, I do need to switch the camera. Let's see, is it? Yep, the back of the camera. And let's get that. Okay, so you can see my yarn and everything. Yes, you can. Accept everything because that is backwards. Marvelous. All right, you're definitely going to need whatever color orange you want. I have used Red Heart Super Saver color pumpkin, like that's really fitting. If you're making one of the large ones, I would say 2 skeins, okay? Your interior, I used pale yellow of the Red Heart Super Saver. This is after making the big ones, so I would suggest probably 2 skeins because if you're making a large one. You need some type of green. I've used a darker green, thyme, and I don't remember which color this one's called right now, but this is the one I used recently. So just the green color, you won't need very much at all for that. This pattern, we use a US size G crochet hook. And what I want to start on today's is an adjustable loop. We're going to use adjustable loops a lot. Can you see this color well enough? Let's do, yeah, we can see the green really well on the camera. So I am right-handed when I do this, and I'll switch the camera in a moment so it looks like I'm left-handed for everybody else who is left-handed. But okay, if you've never done an adjustable loop before, what I want you to do is take the hand that I'm right-handed, so I'm taking my left hand. When people do like the weird dog thing, okay? Well, I want you to do that. You have your fingers like this. Take your yarn. It's really important. Grab your yarn by the very end, okay? Otherwise, you can get this all tangled up. But what you want to do is grabbing it by the very end. You're coming up from the table here, where your fingers are pointing outward, your middle and your ring finger by your palm. Start here. You're going to go 1, 2, 3 wraps around your finger. Now your pinky is going to hold that just up against your ring finger. Not very tight, it's just there to keep this from falling off. Take this part, come over. So all I've done is I've lifted up and now I'm going to put it over my index finger. By doing that, I can now lay this yarn on my middle finger and my thumb is just holding it. I have this odd looking thing, okay? But what it's done now is this is a nice spot for me to be working with great tension. What you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook underneath both of those loops, grab your yarn, and you're going to pull back out. Now here, you know, I can bend these fingers and hold everything in place. I don't have to. I mean, the concept is I need to be able to work underneath these two loops and I need to be able to get my yarn. Okay. So yarn over, which is you go in front of your yarn. The yarn goes over your hook until you can grab it with that and just pull it through. All that did though is anchored my yarn. That is not a stitch. Anchored. In your pattern, it's going to tell you to do six single crochets, US terms. So you go underneath both these loops, grab your yarn, come out, yarn over, go through both loops. That's one single crochet made. So to repeat, underneath both these loops, grab your yarn, come back out, finish your stitch. If you're watching replay, by all means, you can pause, you can rewind, but we are at 4. You can turn this. One more. Once you have your 6, pull your loop. You're going to take these off of your fingers, split these two, start gently pulling on one, and as long as it's making the other loop shrink, you've got the right one. So continue pulling till you have made the second loop completely shrink. Now you can take that tail and pull on it, which makes the other loop completely shrink. And you now have a nice closed up adjustable loop created. So we're going to go through this pretending that I'm left-handed. So again, you take the hand that you crochet with, grab the very end of the yarn, your other hand, you're going to make that like corner looking thing. Start here at the palm and you go 1, 2, 3 times around, hold your pinky, lift this up over the index finger here. You can bend your fingers, you can keep them straight as long as you've got 2 loops. This is pinched, and you have a place to work. You go underneath both loops, grab your yarn, come back out, yarn over, and pull through that just to anchor your work. To do a single crochet, US terms, go under both loops, grab your yarn, you have 2 loops, finish your single crochet. And again. The joy of these videos is that you'll be able to pause if you need to. So there we go, we're at 3. Again, you can move it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Okay. You'll pull your loop. When you take it off again, find your 2, pull on 1, make sure it's the right one. Finish, grab that, pull it tight. All righty. So that is what we're covering today. Just the adjustable loop. We're using that so many different spots in this pattern. You use it for the base of the minis and the large on the outer and the interior. You also use it with the green stem and starting here with your topper. So if you are having difficulties and it is seriously just not working for you, one alternative However you crochet, however you hold your yarn and hook, doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong way as long as you're crocheting. And whether you start with a slip stitch or you start as I do, which is the one and only time you put your hook behind the yarn, slide it back, because then you get a twist that goes to the opposite of everything else. But okay, I want you to just go ahead and chain 2. Work a single crochet into the second chain from your hook. And now you're going to work 5 more single crochets into that exact same stitch. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, so 1 more. You have 6. Pull your loop. You can take your tail and tighten a little bit. So you can just chain 2, work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. That is an option. Okay. Those are the crocheting aspects that we'll bring to the table today. Let's go ahead and switch cameras again. Chihuahua. Yep. All the lovely tech setup that looks hilarious, huh? You'd be amazed, though, how the simple things make the best results. And are we? We are. Okay, everything's where it should be. Awesome. Okay, guys. So, let's see. We've covered the adjustable loop, materials. All right. In the description of this video, you're going to find a couple of links. First off, like I said, today everybody's getting the VIP treatment. So you're finding a link to join me here on Zoom, the first 100 people. After that, it cuts it off. Then let's see. Okay, so you can join on Zoom. Oh, there's a link for how to join this crochet along. And in that crochet along, it will do the whole email thing that we looked at the beginning. That will start that whole process for you. And it will even give you a way to go and get your pattern. So let's see, and to officially join VIP if you want. So the other link that you're going to find in the description is something I call the daily follow along sheets. And that is going to give you an easy way, an easy way to track your notes of what we're about to go into, all this teaching. And it gives you plenty of extra note pages that you could write down your own thoughts. So it gives you a link to download that. So go ahead, find that in the description, and let's get into today's teaching. Today, what we're going to do is I want to bring to you the expectation of this. So just like when you go to church and there is, the pastor's giving one sermon, yet 50 different people can have 50 different encounters. They can all take away something that impacts them greatly, radically empowers them, and yet it's not the same as what was for the person next to them. There's an expectation that this is going to do the exact same thing here. God is that good. God is that powerful. All right. We are going to adjust my notes because I can't see them. There we go. God, thank you, Jesus. So, one of the things that you can kind of treat like an open door, it's an open invitation to know that you have a way to go in a certain area deeper with God. And that is where something kind of pulls at you or nudges you, okay? It grabs your attention, okay? Sometimes in a very good way and sometimes in a like, ooh, I don't like that, okay? Now, in that, we're going to talk about some triggers. Fun word, right? in some aspects here lately in our culture, that word is overused. But the concept of it is definitely still very valuable. And I want to make sure that it's used in such a manner right now, not to empower being a victim, not to empower being one, to stay in the mess, okay? Whenever you have something that causes one of those moments internally, it's actually an invitation to empower you to have a breakthrough. So, how we do this, how we know about this is you have what they call horizontal relationships. So a horizontal relationship is you and any other human being on the planet. Okay? It is you with your parents, you with your siblings, you with your spouse, you with your children, you with your coworker, you with your boss, you with a stranger, da 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 da. Okay? We all have an entire history that communicates to us what we expect with horizontal relationships. Some of us expect butterflies, social butterflies. You expect to just find new friends, and you're just gonna I'm gonna be able to talk to you, and I'm gonna smile at you, and da 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 da. Okay. Some of us, total opposites. You have an expectation that people are awesome, but I still like my own time. Introvert. Not that you have anything against people. You just brief encounters. There we go. Some of us have wounds and pain, and we don't expect good things from encountering people. Okay. All of these have connected to our past, and we now have expectations. These are horizontal relationships. Just because you have an expectation doesn't mean that it's real, right? How many times you can think of this in your own life? You expected somebody to be awesome and amazing, and then you started hanging out with them, and you're like, what in the world is going on? And we also all have the other expectation of I don't think I want anything to do with this person, but you're put into a situation where you got to interact with them. And after so many times, you're like, I don't actually understand why I thought that you weren't awesome. So just because we have an expectation doesn't mean that it's always what's going to play out, but we just do have them. All right. We also have vertical relationships. Relationship single. That's your relationship with God. Very often, more so than not, your expectations that you have found here in the horizontal, you overlay, and that's what you expect here with Daddy God, Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ. So if you have a lot of horizontal relationships and you have been let down, okay, people do not keep their word, they break their promises, they are wishy-washy. It's not uncommon that when you are interacting with God and you are not stable, are you even going to show up? Are you even going to be part of this? Or are you going to check out when I need you the most? This is where we're going to kind of touch on today. Okay? There is a poverty mentality, and it's not only to do with finances. Poverty is lack of resources, lack of capabilities, somewhere where you're just barely surviving or not at all, versus what you could be doing, which is thriving. Scarcity. We can find poverty in our relationships. So, what would that look like? Scarcity, fear, shame, types of guilt, that there's just not enough, that I'm not going to be able to be enough. What if I'm just not good enough? These things that lie down at the very base, sometimes we don't even know, acknowledge them, we're not even aware of them unless they get poked, we get triggered, okay? And if these get poked and suddenly we're uncomfortable, this, my dear friend, is where you have an incredible opportunity to look at God and say, wow, something doesn't line up. I read this in the Bible. I'm expecting this. These things, they don't match. That's what this whole 12 days is going to be about. That's what we're going to take a look at, is where these things don't match. So I've got a couple of scriptures for you of what we're going to do, like to lay the foundation of this. If you look in Proverbs 25:2, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. So once you have those disruption moments, you have an opportunity of God. This hurt. There's a moment where somebody that is very near and dear to me made a choice. They made their own choice, and in that own choice to drive a vehicle someplace that not yet licensed or anything like that, and when they got pulled over and there was consequences, there was a conversation later on, and interestingly enough, I was being blamed. I'm not the one that made a choice. I'm not the one that did a certain thing, but somehow, some way in that conversation, they felt completely justified that it was somehow all my fault that one aspect that they were in trouble for had taken place. Later on, when it was just me and God, I was able to look at him like, that really sucked. No matter how I communicated, no matter how I explained, how in the world is that my fault? The part that they were bringing up was both of us made a decision and knew this information. So I had an opportunity. In that moment, I had a lot of opportunities. In just complete transparency, I could have just cowered down and woe is me. I could have just cowered down and like taken on all the guilt and the responsibility and just try to make sure to never rock their boat. I actually did that most of my life. I don't like that response. I don't like that response. But I had to go through a process because I had a whole bunch of relationships that were like this, okay, that nobody's a bad guy, okay? I don't have bad guys in my life. I have a lot of people in my life, and guess what? People have wounds and blind spots. So what I'm about to share, nothing is somebody's a bad guy. We have people that have wounds and blind spots. I'm one of them. When you have something that kind of sideswipes you, hits you out of nowhere, such as that stinking conversation did, I had an opportunity with God. I could have continued in the path that I had been in of this is what I expect with relationships. And if I don't ever want to experience this again, then I need to wear all the weight and all the freaking responsibility to make sure that everything is lined up and everything is perfect so that they do not get upset, uncomfortable, and unload on me. Okay, nowhere in that is there being strength for everybody involved. I have a mentor who talks about in the kingdom, it's win, 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 right? Like it's a win for you, it's a win for the other person, it's a win for this, it's a win for the environment, like it's a win, okay? So in the kingdom of God, my war is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Well, what the heck was operating here? Well, it wasn't operating in just one person, it was operating in both these people, me included, right? I got stuff that was operating that says that this is what a relationship looks like. And I'm like, God, what do you want me to say? Or like, what do you want to say about this whole thing? And Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The question is, do I expect that something like this would happen in heaven? No. So what the heck is going on? This, going into some other scriptures, just to like help us have a foundation. I want you to look at Matthew 6:33. Okay. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So, okay, I know. It's talking about food and clothes and things like that, and even time, what are you doing? Well, I'm understanding God says all things including my relationships, all things including my heart and this other person's heart. And this other person who I love very much, they love me very much. Why do we have this discrepancy in our relationship? This isn't fun. And it was a legacy. Could be traced back, both sides, family lines, things like that can be traced back. So, Matthew 7 and 8. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. He who seeks finds. And to him who knocks the door will be opened. One more. Matthew 11, verse 12. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been forcefully advancing, and forceful men lay hold of it. I learned it, and I believe it's the New King James Version. I don't remember which version. But it's the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and violent men take it by force. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Violent men take it by force. When you step forward, God, I have this happening. I don't like it. I would like to get rid of it. I would like what you say is normal and healthy and right. I am going to go after what you say. That means I'm going to be advancing. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The violent take it by force. Hello, sweetheart. You just walked into spiritual warfare. How do I know this? Not because I'm going to tell you that there's a demon everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Spiritual warfare. I am looking to take new ground and new territory so that what doesn't line up here and is a discrepancy will transform and change to become lined up with the kingdom of God. I am going to have resistance. I'm going to have resistance from every single thought process that I have ever walked in that has fortified and strengthened that. I am going to have resistance against all the pain and anguish that all these moments have caused me. I am going to have resistance because I am not the only person in this dynamic, and the other person is not my enemy. That is what we're going after this 12 days. This is a type of spiritual warfare. And what is it? It's so that we can have incredibly strong, healthy relationships within our families that grow to be within our other relationships, grows to be affecting our community. Imagine if enough of us went after this, and it could affect our regions. Dare I say, go so far as to affect each and every one of our states and our nation. Because what we go after and we pursue, and with God we allow him to work deep into our lives, we're blessed to be a blessing. Your breakthrough is for you, and it's also what you pass on. You then leave a legacy and inheritance to your children and your children's children, because what your breakthrough is becomes their normal. That discrepancy, that specific thing that happened, I don't even remember how many years ago, well over a decade, is not a normal in any capacity anymore at all. If something like that were to happen now, it would be a completely different response, and it wouldn't even make it 5 minutes. And it's not because somebody got put into their place. It's because we walked it out with God, allowing him to rewrite what our horizontal relationships were. We're still in the process. You're not going to arrive. We're going to continue to have breakthrough upon breakthrough upon breakthrough, right? There's a scripture that says we go from glory to glory to glory. What's the reality then? That means every breakthrough becomes my children's normal. My breakthrough becomes my normal. I have another breakthrough. My children have a new normal. That gets to the point where one day I'll have grandchildren, right? But if we pursue God and we make this a lifestyle, then we continue to have breakthroughs, and the world around us continues to have breakthroughs. It's not just mine. I went after that in one specific relationship, and I started experiencing it in every single relationship. So this is what we're going after. These 12 days will be broken down into like 3 main sections. These 3 main sections, our first section is the concept of you and God. Okay, you are worth loving. Our second section is where we will start to bring in the reality that it's you, God, and other people. How to love them well without cleaning them up. Our third section is where we get to encounter God in new and deep levels, and this is all about humility and trusting God. Now, I'm bringing you very impactful things that God used to work this deep into my life. I will bring that to you. I'm not bringing you a quick fix Band-Aid. This is a process, okay? There was a different situation that took place October of 23, and my world just kind of exploded. I found myself where I never wanted to be. I had started to see the signs of it in July of 23, but by the time we got to October, it was pretty intense. And I thought that was the bad part. It got a whole lot worse a few months down the road. But in October of 23, that particular week, very, very specifically, God was telling me, you are worth loving. The very next week, very, very specifically, God kept saying, love them well without cleaning them up. And the very third week, very specifically, God was, be humble. What I realized, walking all that out, was that God was giving me an overview. And then we went really deep. So everything I'm bringing to the table is I'm going to give you pinpoints of places where you can anchor in and start to go deep. Just like we're crocheting this awesome jack-o'-lantern, you crochet it 1 stitch at a time. Okay? Crocheting. You take a skein of yarn, you unravel it, okay? Like whoop-de-doo, whatever, I'm pulling yarn out, I'm unraveling it, it's just yarn. I'm going to take my tool, my crochet hook, and I'm going to manipulate that yarn. I don't like that word. I'm going to transform that yarn 1 stitch at a time. And from that skein of yarn, which is just twirled up, wrapped around, and somehow it holds this awesome shape, right? Yarn. And yet I can then turn it into this, an incredible jack-o'-lantern. It was a process. I took this, transformed it into that, 1 stitch at a time. God takes our lives, even if they're a mess and completely tangled up, and 1 step at a time, he creates a masterpiece. With our relationships, he creates incredible masterpieces. That's what I want to enjoy. That's what I want to invite you to join in with me. We will meet Monday through Thursday for the next 3 weeks. I am very excited to see you guys here, and I will see you again tomorrow. So for tonight, grab that daily follow along sheet. Spend 10 minutes with God, at least 10 minutes, and ask him for a target. When we do these crochet alongs, we got a treasure map. You know, you have a target. You're going to crochet an incredible jack-o'-lantern. This thing's smile is amazing, right? You're going to crochet the jack-o'-lantern. So what is your target for your relationships? Ask God. Does he highlight a specific one? Does he just highlight a specific concept? It doesn't matter what he highlights, that's between you and him. But you have a target. Go ahead and use that daily follow along sheet and mark out what impacts you. What is he saying? What do you want to go after? The other thing is go ahead and join this crochet along officially, right? Yeah, you can jump in here. We're going to have it on Zoom, got it in the Facebook groups, but doing the email part, especially doing the VIP part, that's where you can go deep and you can get tremendous breakthrough. So do those things and I will see you tomorrow. You guys have a great night. Bye.